So if you think self-help is a scam or personal development is a scam, I want you to watch this video all the way through. It's very important. So my name is Jake. Thanks for watching today's episode, and let's dive right into the video. So like any business or industry in the world, there are good actors and there are bad actors. There's certainly a lot of people in the personal development industry and the self-help industry that, you know, have their nice fake teeth and their fantastic smile, and they know like all these secret sales techniques, and they know how to pinpoint things. There's a lot of channels that do exposés and it's becoming more popular. But I agree with all those things, and I think it's important that people are able to identify between someone that can really help them and someone that's just out to get their money. And the problem with it, though, becomes when we think that the actual essence of the work or the teaching, maybe not from that certain individual, but where it originally came from, right? Bob Proctor always says, I have such great material and license to brag about it because none of it's mine. Because these aren't original ideas. Right? We know these certain facts about the mind. And whether you think personal development is a scam or not, that's fine. The business of it is separate from the actual psychology of it. And one of the most important ways to discover whether someone's telling you the truth or not, or they're leading you in a way that's going to help you or not, when you're deciding whether to watch someone's videos, read someone's books, when the subject is on self-help as it pertains to getting what you want in life, if they aren't teaching you about the subconscious mind, they're teaching you totally incorrect information. This is what happens in many instances, and many people have a bad view of self-help because they think of it as motivation. You go to the seminar, you get all jacked up, and everyone's like, whoa, yeah, baby, gonna go out and make $1 million tomorrow, double-fisted 5 push-ups, yeah! Like, and then the music's jumping and everyone's jumping up and down, and then it's expensive, and then like 6 months later they're in the same place, but then they need to go to another seminar, but they don't have any money, so they take out a credit card for the next seminar. Now they're 100 grand in debt when they were 90 grand in debt just a week before. Then they get motivated again, they go back into the same cycle again. What's the problem? So it's important to just understand a couple things, whether you like personal development or not. Number one is the conscious mind is only responsible for 5% of our life. The conscious mind is only responsible for 5% of our life, and the conscious mind is the majority of personal development and self-help work. It's all related to the conscious mind. It's like, what do you want? What are you willing to do to get it? Are you motivated yet? Get pumped up. What are you gonna do now that you're fired up? It's stuff based off of the conscious mind. But the way the mind really works is like this clip right here. You see this image? This is an image of that iceberg analogy. And you know, they say the tip of the Titanic isn't what sunk it. It's what's below the surface, right? Similarly, we all know this guy right here. That is John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and the Beatles and their Yellow Submarine, you know that song? We all live in a yellow submarine. And I bet you if I kept singing it, it gets stuck in your head. And I'll tie that back into a point here in a minute. But just think about that word, submarine. What does sub mean? Below. What's marine? The water, surface of the water. So submarines going below the surface, right? That's what a submarine's doing. So submarine, below the ocean, subconscious, below the conscious. So psychologists tell us 95% of our life is subconscious. 95% of your life is subconscious. So when you buy this book on how to make more money, or you watch this video on how to make more money, or you hire this coach and it's about your money or your business or your relationships, or you watch some dating videos, or you read The Secret, or you watch The Secret movie, the reason people don't get what they want and it's not predictable has to do with the conscious versus the subconscious. And your subconscious has been programmed into you since you were born by your parents or the adults around you, by the teachers that you have, the society you have, the culture you have, the family values that you do or don't have. All of these things program us, and this determines how we view money. It determines our self-image. It determines how we view ourselves. It determines every aspect of the foods that we do and don't eat, how much water we drink. Do we drink good water, bad water? Do we eat GMOs? Do we spend all our money when we get it? Do we spend our whole lives in credit card debt? Do we always settle for low-income jobs that feel secure, but we don't ever really love them? And they keep enough food on the table, so we're thankful for it, but we know we want more out of life, but we're too afraid to ever do it because our dad went bankrupt trying to start his own business, and then he was depressed the rest of his life, and then your parents got divorced, and it was this big ordeal, so then you also associated love with pain, so you've always been afraid of really intimate relationships, and you always sabotage them when they get intimate, or you settle for people you don't really want to be with because you're afraid to be alone, because maybe when your parents split up, you were alone a lot because your dad was working and you were stuck at his house and he wasn't there, and the same thing happened when you were at your mom's house and she wasn't around because she's also working 9 to 5, so you were alone a lot. So then you associated being alone with pain. So then you get in relationships you don't really want to be in just because you're afraid of being alone. We all know a lot of those types of people. There was one of my good friends that was never not in a relationship from middle school through high school, and we used to laugh about it and joke about it, and I didn't really understand it, but it's the subconscious. So I want you to think about a couple of those things for you. It might have to do with how you view money. It might have to do with, when you think about it with what you want most. What do you want most in your life? If you had one thing, if you could have one wish granted in your life immediately, what would it be? Would it be a certain amount of money? Would it be a certain job? Would it be healed relationship? Would it be attracting soulmate? Would it be more romance? Would it be more travel? Would it be starting your own business? Would it be losing 20 pounds? Would it be getting in the best shape of your life? Would it be meditating every day and having a greater spiritual connection? What's that one thing that you want more than anything? Money, romance, fitness, whatever it is. And then ask yourself, what did I hear and what did I learn growing up about this stuff? And when you start to get there, amazing things happen because we realize we have all these crappy belief systems. And that's not some crappy self-help sell you something thing. These are just facts. But the problem is there's so many bad actors. And then the problem is they're talking about things that don't get to the core also. But once you understand the way the mind works, your whole life will change. Because I was like that. Now I have a couple YouTube channels, you know, I'm in the self-help space. I have 3 books in the personal development industry. You know, I have all that stuff. But I didn't believe any of it when I started. But I didn't not believe it either. I just decided I was gonna suspend my disbelief, go to my subconscious mind and see what was possible in my life. And I was like, if this stuff is really true, if you can really manifest your dream life, if you can really create what you want in life, if it's really possible to create your own financial independence without following through the rat race in the system, if the power of your mind and consciousness is really insane, what's actually possible? So I just suspended my disbelief and I gave it a try. That ultimately led me to going directly to the subconscious, learning about hypnotic writing, learning about hypnosis itself, creating all these different hypnosis tapes for myself. And I went right to my mind and I started reprogramming. And my life started changing. My relationship started improving. I started getting happier. I started having more success. All these things started shifting as a result of that. And it didn't involve jumping up and down at some place and turning the music up and pumping my chest. And those things can be great because they change your state, right? And then maybe it allows you to step into something uncomfortable, right? But what I encourage you to do is explore your subconscious mind. And that's what this channel is all about. I'm just helping you by hopefully imparting some ideas that allow you to explore your own conditioning and your own perception. Now, what I want to say when I kind of wrap up here is that I could make this video very, very like an hour and a half long about everything you need to know about personal development if you don't care about it, right? I could just keep going and going. In this video, I didn't even mention my newsletter, anything like that. I just want you to understand this. And so I want to wrap up with conscious versus subconscious. Conscious, 5% of our life. Subconscious is below conscious. That's responsible for 95% of our life. 75% of those thoughts are estimated to be negative and redundant. So we're having all these subconscious programming, they're majority negative and redundant. Psychologists have been telling us this stuff for a long time. We still don't know it, so when somebody talks about getting what you want in life, it's really based off of these psychological discoveries. Now, the second part of this, it's not just some psychic phenomena, mind stuff, law of attraction thing. Neurologically, we know this is true. Bruce Lipton, someone who's been instrumental in this. Dr. Joe Dispenza, there's a fantastic book called The Brain That Changes Itself, which was one of the first mass-marketed quantum physics and neuroplasticity books ever written. So we know that your mind creates electrical impulses in your brain. Right? When you go to the doctor or the hospital, they could do two things. They can measure the electrical impulses of your heart, beep, 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 but they can also measure the electrical impulses of your brain. They can measure your brainwave states, right? So what is an emotion? It's energy in motion. It's an instant electromagnetic signal, essentially, that moves through our nervous system. It creates a sensation. Every time we have feelings, so the feelings you have about money, the feelings you have about love, the feelings you have about your soulmate, the feelings you learned based off of your parents or the adults around you, feelings about money. Maybe your parents always argued about money. Maybe they thought rich people ruined the world. Maybe they thought money was evil. Maybe they never had any and they always believed that they couldn't have that much, and they always said things like, just be happy with what you got. At least we have just enough for food on the table, right? They may have talked like that. So what did you do? You memorized the feelings of not having enough money. It might be around love. You might have memorized love as pain because your parents always argued. It goes on and on and on. But every time we have an emotion, we fire cells in our brain. And there's a term in neuroscience, it's called HEBBS law, H-E-B-B-S. H-E-B-B-S, HEBBS law. So comment that down below to make sure that you remember. This is a long video now, right? We're gonna wrap up here in a minute. We know from many studies at universities, you forget like 80% of things that you hear within the first day if you don't write it down. So write down HEBBS law right there down below, H-E-B-B-S. HEBBS law says that nerve cells that fire together wire together. So I have an emotion, it's a fear about money, it's a fear about someone breaking up with me, it's a fear about someone cheating on me and I'm always paranoid, right? Whatever your fear is, every time you have that emotion, you activate cells in your brain. HEBBS law says that those cells that are activated repeatedly, you keep firing and wiring the same feelings and thoughts every day, they build a neurological connection in your brain and they hardwire into your brain. In the same way that an old growth forest, all the roots combine together underground, and if you see like some artistic renderings or even some drawings of them, it's this massive web of all these, they look almost like neural connections, and they're all connected underground. Well, your neural connections in your brain do the same thing. You activate a cell, but then you keep activating the same ones about money, about how much you make, about love, about health, about what you're capable of, about whether you're confident or whether you're insecure, whatever it is. It might have to do with body image, it might have to do with romance, it might have to do with public speaking skills. And we keep think of it like some little video game, and it's like you're shooting the thing. These are the cells activating. Well, they fire and wire together. And when they fire and wire together, they hardwire your brain, and your brain starts automatically operating that way without your conscious control. This becomes the subconscious mind in action. This ultimately controls your nervous system and your general bandwidth of emotions on a daily basis. It also creates what vibration your body is in, what habits you take. So then your body and all the habits of your body become an extension off of the programming in the subconscious that wires into the mind. But we now know you can rewire it. Think about that old, if you're still with me here, hit the like button on this video, comment down below, I'm with you, Jake. Just let me know that you're still with me. Let me know you're still with me if you enjoy some longer form videos like this. Just helps me to know that I'm not wasting my time. Let's hope I'm not. If I am wasting my time, you could also comment down below. Jake, go f yourself, right there down below. So let's wrap up with this. We know neuroplasticity, you've heard that word. Neuro is brain and plastic is changeable. So brain is changeable, neuroplastic, neurochangeable. Using your conscious mind, you can start to use hypnosis, visualization, just overcoming your daily fears to go ask someone out you think is attractive, but you keep saying no, not making those extra sales calls, doing those cold calls, because in your job, you always feel the same type of emotional comfort zone or fear or anxiety, but instead you overcome it, right? You activate a new cell in your brain that wasn't firing before. Well, you can use HEBBS law now to take your own mind back. You can use HEBBS law to take your own mind back. So what I did is I started could you give thanks for a future that hasn't happened yet? That's not like new age, like let me go fart out unicorns and confetti type of stuff, and like we'll sail away on like on a rainbow unicorn on a magic carpet. It's not at all. Because if you can feel thankful for something that hasn't happened, excited about it, instead of doubtful about it, instead of, oh, I don't believe that'll happen, what happens is you activate new cells in your brain. Your brain and your subconscious do not know the difference between what's real and what's not real. This is really important. They don't know the difference. They don't know. We know this as a fact. So when somebody comes along and they say, don't trust anything that has to do with any of these self-help psychology, that's just as bad as the people that are running out there and they're selling you a $500,000 coaching package that they say is gonna, make you a billionaire in 6 weeks, or like the worst scammy video you could ever imagine. They're two sides of the same coin, and in the middle of it is the reality that your brain is malleable and changeable, and you've been programmed. Every aspect of your life has been programmed. And you can update that programming using HEBBS law. So when you start to think and feel differently, you start to activate new cells. When you think and feel different, you think and feel different, you think and feel different day after day, you think and feel different. Your outside reality hasn't changed, but you don't allow it to control how you think and feel. You activate new cells, you use HEBBS law to build new neural connections. This starts to change your state, how you feel, the habits that you're taking, the things that you're bringing into your experience, the people, the places that you're attracting. All of it starts to shift with that shift in the brain and that shift in the subconscious. And when that happens, literally our life changes. And I believe that's the basis of what's most important to understand in personal development and self-help. So if you enjoyed this video, we've got a lot of topics on this. Make sure you hit the bell notification so you're notified for a future video, because the YouTube algorithm, even if you hit the subscribe button, it doesn't notify you. So make sure you hit the bell notification right there down below. Smash the like button on this video and just let me know in the comments, hey Jake, I love this video. Hey Jake, you suck. I don't really care either way. But let me know if you enjoyed this. If you're new to personal development, self-help, if you normally don't like it, or you haven't found something that resonated with you before, I hope that this was something that did. Even if it didn't, I appreciate you having an open mind and watching this video all the way through. We'll link a couple other good videos right there down below, and we'll see you next time.